We are running.
Perfect. All right, the time being 5:30 in the afternoon here on November 18th, 2024. We're going to open up the Tilton Northfield Fire and EMS Budget Committee meeting. Those present are Paul Ozier, our Commissioner's representative, myself, Dennis Manning, Eric Pyra, Paul Blaisdell, Scott Lewandowski, Kathy, and the Chief.
Deputy.
Oh, I'm sorry, and Deputy Valvini, Deputy Chief Valvini. Didn't read my list. I gotta put you guys on. All right, so I guess the first thing, we don't have any public comment or
Nope.
public here to comment, so
We can do minutes.
members, we can do the minutes. Does everybody have a copy of the minutes? They should.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes of 11/6/2024 as written.
We've got a motion to approve by Paul. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Eric. Any discussion on that? Everybody need time to read them, or?
Read them to
Right. Good to go? You all set, Eric?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, all those in favor of passing the minutes as written, state so by saying aye.
Thank you.
The ayes have it. Hopefully we got Charlie broke.
Hopefully.
All right.
It's awful quiet downstairs.
Yeah.
Because we're up here
I
today.
looked at my notes.
And just for the record, Charles Broughton has arrived. All right, first thing on the list, we'll just start on page 2, I guess.
Yes.
We'll look at the dental insurance. We had quite a discussion last time. I guess I'll entertain a motion.
Well, I think we asked for some commissioners' feedback on the call, but I'll make a motion that we discuss line 211 dental insurance at $30,470.
I'll second that for discussion. I guess we'll wait till Paul gets- So I guess we're looking for input from you, Paul, regarding the commissioner's intention.
The other two commissioners wanted to go with this simply because we have no deductible anymore. I believe that's what.
I can clarify that if you like.
Please.
Please.
Sure, since on our health insurance, the district had a policy of paying 100% of the deductibles on the health insurance policies. Health Trust, where we get our health insurance from, has come out with a policy saying that the district can only pay 50% of the deductibles going forward. The reason being that there were a lot of municipalities taking a high deductible plan because it was costing less and still reimbursing the employees 100% of the deductible. So that meant that the employee or his family, members in the health plan, were not shopping their health care. So they didn't realize the cost savings. So to incentivize people shopping for their health care, they said you can only pay 50% of the deductible. Where we had a lower deductible plan, we didn't really have to shop because of we were funding the thing, but we didn't see the health trust saw a huge increase in cost of high deductible plans because they weren't they weren't getting the savings that they anticipated because they had high deductible plans. So they came out with this new policy. New policy has to change our policy, and since now TNFD can only supply 50% of the deductible on the health insurance, the commissioners decided that they would fund 100% of the dental.
And how much, okay, so so the dental now is $30,470. The difference from the 100 to the 50%, do you have any numbers that would show like how much more it's costing there?
So traditionally, the deductible cost, if I just, excuse me, somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 a year. Now, and that's about the delta of the employees paying 12% of the health insurance, dental insurance. So that's kind of like the wash. And that's what
Is that a total or is that a per employee?
total.
So three to 5,000, so it would have cost the employees total like $3,000 to $5,000 more.
Yes.
And to absorb that, to make it less impactful on them, we're getting a $30,000 plan.
Well, we were going to get the health dental insurance at any rate. It's whether we were going to pay 88% or, whether the district was going to pay 88 or 100%. Since that delta is about $3,000 to $5,000 on that, between the 88 and 100%, that's why the commissioners went. So it's a wash in that respect. The reason we're getting the health insurance is that every other fire department that we compare with also gets health insurance, and we're trying to stay competitive with our marketplace.
So how many employees enroll in the dental insurance?
I think 19. 19 can. I don't know how many will.
Is that with 19 and 30,000? Is that like worst case? So
Yes.
in realistic terms, it might be lower than that.
Yes, that's the worst case scenario. But we won't know until after the enrollment period.
How many are enrolled in it now?
Hold on. Get on the insurance page.
Like, can they opt out of the health insurance but still opt into the dental, or is it one package?
Yes, they can opt out and in.
Okay, so you could opt out of health but still opt out of dental.
Do we offer the opt-out benefit for dental?
No.
No. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 14 currently in the dental plan.
So if only 14 continue, then this 30,000 will be reduced?
If only 14 sign up. So there's an open enrollment period currently. We won't know the final number until the open enrollment period is over.
But when will that open enrollment occur?
It's
When is the deadline for it? Here's my point, Chief, is that we're budgeting 31,000 for 19 employees. If only 14 sign up, that means we're going to be about 1/4 less than 31K in the premium. But are we going to come back and readdress this line on the budget after the open enrollment is closed and you determine exactly how many people will be on it?
We certainly can do that.
Because, I'm just throwing out round numbers. 5 out of 19 is 25%. So, how much?
It would realize about an 8,000.
So,
Whisper over.
if you only have 14 people enrolling, we could fund this line at $8,000 less and still have you providing the insurance that you want to provide.
I understand what you're saying. Right now, I can't give you another.
When is the open enrollment?
Open enrollment ends December,
15th or something.
well, everything has to be into Health Trust by the 15th, so it has to end that week, the 14th. Is the very last date,
When does the budget have to be finalized?
before Paul goes to North Carolina.
Can you join us by Zoom or by telephone?
I do by phone. I'm not sure when I'm actually, it's
Right.
that week there, some week of the 9th. Could be. It could be at the end of the week, though.
You're still going to have another shot. There'll be a budget committee hearing on the warrant articles. So you could also amend it at that time. amend it down if need be, we have the exact number at that point in time.
So the open enrollment by law, or by,
Well, the 15th is on a
And-
Sunday, so it has to be done before the
Okay.
13th.
my question is who sets that final date? Is it you?
Health
In other
trust.
words,
Health trust.
can you tell your employees that you need an
I
answer?
already have.
No, we already done that.
Not by the end of open enrollment, by a date sooner than that.
No, we can't change that.
No, we cannot change that. They have it up until,
So, if you say it's until the 15th, but you're also saying the 13th. and
well, the
saying
15th is on a Sunday, so it would be the Friday before that.
Right, so on Friday, so someone forgets, whatever, a lot going on at that time of year, they forget to sign up, they go, oh, on the 14th, they put the paperwork on your desk. Or someone's desk, can they still do it, or is the 13th, that, and it could be,
It is Friday, the 13th.
It is Friday the
after all.
13th, yes. But what you don't realize is that I will be touching base with every single one of the employees before then
Okay.
to
Well, I
see
do
what they want
realize
to do.
that. I do realize that because you said it twice now. My point is that if you're touching base with them and you say that you need an answer for the budget committee, it's got nothing to do with health trust or whatever, for the budget committee. You need an answer for the budget committee by this date. Is there anything wrong with saying that to your employees?
I think legally though, if somebody comes in and says, yeah, I held that, but then they change their mind at the last minute, they can legally,
Right.
Right? Yep. Or we could fund this for 25% more than its value. That's the trade-off. And for me, the
I think the easiest way is to fund it, what we're requesting right now, and then once we find out when you're doing your warrant article hearing, amend it at that point.
What is the final date for the budget? That you have to have a final budget from us? December?
Well, the only meeting that you have on here, the last meeting you have is December 2nd.
That's not what I'm asking. What I'm
So-
asking is, what's the last date before you have to have a budget from us?
December 13th.
Okay. I suggest we hold off funding this line until December 13th, and you get a final count on your employees who want to enroll in it.
well, when
Can I bring up
are
a
we
point
gonna
as
meet?
an employee who doesn't have dental? Will, if I enroll in this and you don't fund it, then I'm on the hook for so there is a decision I need to make.
It's a catch-22.
Do you see what I'm saying, Paul?
Yeah, I
If
do. I
that
do.
line's not funded and I opt in and you don't, I could get dental through my wife. So
Okay, so,
that's the,
but if our decision doesn't have to be made until the 13th, and the employee's decision doesn't have to be made until the 13th, why don't we wait until the 13th to make our decision?
Well,
Have a
13th,
meeting on
no,
Friday the
the 13th is on a Friday, that's the last date that you need the budget. I mean, I don't, so if you look at it, I mean, that's the Friday after our December 2nd meeting.
That is
Or
correct.
the Friday after that, I mean, it's the second Friday after our December 2nd meeting. So,
is it business day Friday, you have to have it turned in?
Yes,
So by 5?
right,
yes.
so we're meeting the Monday,
Well,
2 weeks before.
let's take a step back. I'm over here in this conversation, and you're saying that Health Trust needs it by the 15th, and now you're saying they need it by the end
Well,
of
I
business on the
didn't
13th.
realize that the 15th was a Sunday until I just looked at the calendar.
So is Health Trust telling you that the 15th is the cutoff, or the end of business on the 13th is the cutoff? I don't like just having $8,000 hanging there that goes into a bottom line budget that I mean, we're looking at saving dollars here, not hundreds or thousands of dollars. We're looking to save dollars. And this is $8,000, it's just hanging.
We said we could amend it, right, at the hearing. When is the hearing technically?
What's the process for amending it at the budget hearing?
Not if, you can amend it at the budget hearing, but you're gonna have, you probably have to have another meeting to go over the warrant articles. You could amend it at that point in time. You have not set a date for that meeting yet, because that won't be until January sometime, because the warrant articles don't have to be in until,
The first week in January.
you know, so.
So it's, yes, it does say that deadline for submitting enrollment applications to Health Trust is December 13th.
So it's end of business on the 13th.
And Health Trust doesn't care when we have to submit our budget.
They don't care.
They don't care. They're not married to each other.
Right.
Yeah, I would think just fund it, but keep it on the back burner, and then when we get that final number, we can always just amend it and lower it then. Probably the easiest way. We'll just probably hope that it will go down 8,000, just keep it on our radar.
Well, that's gonna be a whole lot easier than trying to have a meeting on the 13th.
Totally.
There's probably a good chance it will get amended, because, you know, unless there's 100% enrollment, which, I mean, it could be, I guess, but even one person opting out would change it down. So, yeah, I think that, for me, that makes so much sense.
Because that, I just put it on here, so as far as the agenda, I just wrote in there that one of the things we'll do is we'll set up a meeting for the warrant articles. We'll talk about that at the end. So that was
Well,
a motion to discuss. What's that?
since that was a motion to discuss, we also need to discuss the health insurance. Because I had a person come to me today to opt out.
Okay, one, excuse me, can we do one at a time? So the 13,470 is for 19 employees. And presently you have 14 employees.
Is the benefit only eligible full-time employees?
Yes,
Okay. I'm doing the math, but I'm like 20, I think.
only full-time.
Well, I guess to continue the discussion, I would suggest that as a budget committee, we don't have to go by the desires of the commissioners, right? The commissioners have expressed a desire to fund this at 100%. I guess what I would like to do is poll to find out if that's what the budget committee wants to do, whether that's at 14 employees or 19 or anything in between.
Well, personally, I don't think we can. If we vote for a line for less than the full-time, the potential employees, we're setting ourselves up for failure to a certain extent. Even if it's just one, you know,
I
if they got
think it's-
14 and then somebody comes, we got the 15th that comes in, now you're underfunded. And and I looked at this budget last year. I mean, these guys have been scraping this year because they were underfunded last year in many respects.
I totally agree with your comment. The flip side to that is if we overfund it needlessly, we no longer have that money. We no longer have control of that money. So,
Well, I can tell you what, given all that, even if there's money left over at the end of the year, it goes into the undesignated fund balance. we're below where we need to be in the undesignated fund balance if we're gonna go out for a bond or borrowing on a new facility because of the accounting rules and what the lenders require and what the bond bank requires. That we should be at 16.6667% of our operating budget should be in the unfunded, unassigned fund balance.
And that was voted down at 2 district meetings ago. You actually, you're,
Well, the closer you are to it, the better off you're going
Right.
to be.
I get it.
I'm just saying it's not a total misuse of funds.
no, and Chief, please don't misunderstand me, and also Deputy Chief. I'm not thinking that you're going to take this money and do something frivolous with it. All I want to do is make sure that we're doing as a committee our due diligence as far as what the necessity is for the budget and making sure that we're supplying adequate amount of money for you to do your thing without being extravagant. So if, with a $1,000 deductible and a 50/50 copay on the deductible, the employee would spend $500 out of pocket for the entire year, maximum, right?
Per person.
Per person.
Per
Your plan.
person.
Per plan.
No,
No,
per person.
So if it's a family plan, it's $500.
After, family plan is like 3 people on board. After 3, it doesn't matter.
So it could be 1,500, it could be 1,000, it could be 500.
One under the insurance opt-out, was that family?
It's the single.
That's a
What's
lot.
this whispering going on over here?
No, before I said so, I just wanted to double check with hers before I.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
So your 30,470, that number that's in here,
Yes.
that's 19 family plans.
No, that's not 19 family plans. That is 3 singles, 3 two-person, and 13 family. We budgeted for what we have for employees,
Okay,
what they would fall under.
okay. That clarifies.
And that's just the dental plan we're talking about.
That's just the dental.
All right, well, to get this moving along, you said you'd like to take a poll. I think we can take a poll and vote. So I don't know if when we make a motion to discuss, I mean, that's a motion to put on the table. I think we can vote on that, if I'm not mistaken, can we not?
Yes.
Right. So the original motion to discuss by Paul and seconded was for 30,470. I will ask for a vote now. All those in favor of that number state so by saying aye. Aye. I'm not, let me measure that. Let me see the hand, because I'm like deaf. All right. So the ayes have it.
You didn't ask for the notes.
No. All those against, please state so by saying nay.
Nay,
2 nays.
thank you.
Sorry.
So we just voted to fund it at 334.70.
Right, and then at the end, if I'm not mistaken, we have to set up a meeting to do the warrant articles. And at that time, when we know what's going on, we can modify it then,
Correct.
which is going to be way easier, again, trying to do it on the 13th.
No, I get it. I just don't want it to be overlooked, so.
I trust you will not allow that fall. Okay, and I mean it in the sincerest way, I was like that. All right, now, I guess we can backtrack a little bit. We set these limits, but Kathy had mentioned a change in the numbers for group health insurance for lines 210 and 210.1.
Correct.
So it looks like we're going to be subtracting from 210 the amount of like 13,000 something, is that the single rate?
No, it was actually a family plan that dropped out.
Oh, the family plan dropped out?
Yes.
Well, that's what I was asking, so that
Oh,
makes a huge difference.
It makes a huge difference. So instead of
so
it
we're gonna-
being
we're gonna have a net gain.
352,985, it's going to be 317,449.
So instead of 352,985,
Yes,
it's going to be
317,449.
So you have to change the opt-out and the health.
Yes, you do have to change the opt-out.
What would those be?
And the opt-out is going to go to 105,291, 105,292, sorry.
I make a motion, we readdress line 210, group health insurance. Previously, we agreed to fund it at 92,130.
Nope, you're reading the wrong one.
I'm sorry, 352,985. Thank you, Eric.
I'll second it for discussion. So we'll open that up. I know we're gonna have like a net savings there, because it's like 35,000 something for a family plan, and we're only paying out, what did we say, it was 13, something like 13,000 for the buyout's the single rate.
The buyout is the single rate, so,
We're saving
You're
about
sa-
22K total.
yeah. Because the buyout is 39,484, 37.
What is it? 3944? You said the buyout is what?
The buyout for this is the single person, and, hold on,
So
wrong,
it's
wrong number.
13,162, right?
It's 14,956.
The savings should be 22,374.
Yes,
What's that?
22,374
yeah,
should be
yeah.
the savings.
yes.
Right.
So the group insurance now will be 317,449.
Correct.
So my motion is to change line 210, 352,985 to 317,449.
Second. Was it the, did we vote, did we second
We-
it?
No.
Oh, okay.
We haven't voted,
I'll
yes.
second it.
Okay. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
I
All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
make a motion, we fund line 210.1, that we change it from 92,130 to 105,242.
Second that for discussion. Does anybody have any discussion on that?
No, it's not a lot, but I wrote down 292, so I just want to make sure that it's,
It is 292.
105,292, right?
I mean, it's only $50, but I just want to.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be right.
Now, are these numbers gonna change before the 13th? They could, right? Technically because of open enrollment numbers?
Probably not.
Okay, this is pretty firm.
This is pretty firm.
Okay.
Is open enrollment for for the health insurance the same time period as the dental?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we didn't take a vote on that. We said no discussion, nobody has
Need a
any discussion?
second.
Well, I just have one other,
Oh, I see.
it just hit me. Because you talked about before that we previously had dental insurance, right?
No,
But we haven't had dental.
we have dental insurance that's been 100% paid by the employee.
Gotcha. All right, gotcha, that's where I was confused. I didn't know it was part of the health plan.
No.
Well, do I have to amend my motion because I gave the wrong number?
What number did you give for that?
105,242, and Eric corrected me,
Oh,
it's
yeah, it's
292.
Yeah, so we take it like think that's just semantics, we can say we know it's 292. All those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. That line gets funded in $105,292. So the new total is $453,054, which is, you said
453, 211.
you got 211.
Oh, wait a minute, I made a mistake.
Okay, because I was like, huh?
15292, 317, 449, 3047. Yeah, 453, 211 is what it added up to. Sorry, I don't know. Sean, are you double checking?
I've added it 3
I
times.
have 422741.
Really? Well, why is this?
Okay.
Oh, I didn't include the dental.
30.
Oh, okay, I was just like, we have, right, we funded a line. 210 was 317,449.
Correct.
Right, plus
105,292,
105,292, plus,
30470.
453219.
Right,
oh, 211, yeah.
yeah,
You're right,
I was
sorry.
right, sorry.
You're right.
Confusing.
I don't know how my calculator did that.
We didn't take off the shoes and socks and give it to us.
Right. And I think, Sean, the number you came up with was like $22,000 lower than what we originally forecasted. So,
Yep, 22374.
Okay, cool.
all right. Cool, let's move on. Social Security, are those numbers right? Oh, yeah,
Yes.
12,000, yeah. I move that we fund line 220 for Social Security in the amount
We
of
can't do
12.
social security until we do payroll.
Still waiting on, all right.
No, the commissioners are finished with
Oh,
payroll.
yeah, they're finished.
Yeah, but we have it.
We haven't.
So go, well, let's finish, let's work our way down. Electricity is the next thing you guys put off. And that's on the same page.
Right, that's 4194 on the same page. 2,
Yes.
we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the 4 locations. I guess we can go with those separately. I will move that we fund 410.01 for Center Street in the amount of $8,500, $8,500.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Discussion on that?
We're waiting for rates, right?
Yeah,
Like, did
so-
anything happen to that?
Yeah, we checked into, we're in a contract until December of '25. We looked into trying to see if we could get out of the contract. We can, but it's gonna cost us $600. In the course of the contract, we would not save $600 in the rates. Because the rates, even though the kilowatt per hour used is somewhat less than the current rate we were paying, it seems most of the rate increase was on delivery charge when I did the research, so it wasn't worth it, and that we'll search for new rates at the end, probably near the end of '25, and go for a new contract at that time. It just doesn't make sense to do it now, we'd be losing money.
Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Next one, I will move 410.02 for the Park Street Station, the amount of $4,000. Have a second? Oh,
Charlie.
Charlie, thank you. Any discussion on that? I think it's the same discussion, is it not?
Same thing.
Right. Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. All right. The next line, I move that we fund 410.03 for Park Street Tower in the amount of $1,000.
Second.
Second by Charlie. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. And lastly, 410.04, the Shed Road Tower. I move we fund that in the amount of $3,500. Do I have a second?
Second.
Charlie? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Ayes have it for $3,500. 4,
Salaries and
salaries and wages. All right. Well, I'm just gonna pick it off for the total unless someone wants to go line by line on that.
I would like to go line by line,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
All right. I'll move that we fund line 110, career salaries and wages, in the amount of $1,587,911. Second?
I'll second for discussion.
Okay, we've had a motion and it's been seconded. Any discussion?
What is the increase over last year as a percentage?
3,
3%?
yes.
Thank you.
And that was the commissioners.
That was a COLA? Or
Yes, that was a COLA.
Chief, your number is significantly higher. What was your number? What did your number include?
My number included a step and educational incentive,
And no COLA.
no COLA.
These numbers are a little off if we just do 3% off of the appropriated. Is there like decrease in other salaries, like newer members making less than last year? Or why wouldn't it be more if it's 3%?
9 months. 9 months. It starts in April instead of January.
Okay.
So it's not true.
Very confusing.
Okay. They get it though January 1st, though, right? April 1st?
The commissioners changed their policy to institute pay raises in April instead of
Okay.
January. So 3% raise really isn't a 3% raise next year.
Is it 3% plus if they get a step, will they get that too?
There's no steps.
No steps.
Just the COLA.
Just
So they wouldn't go back retroactively?
No, they decided not to do a retroactive.
So the 3% would be over 9 months?
Correct.
not 12 months.
Well,
9.
it's a 3% annual increase over this year's number, but it doesn't really start until April, so there's only 8 months worth of 3% raise.
So it's
9
like
months.
2 1/3.
9 months, sorry, yeah.
So it's like
75%.
2 1/3%.
So it's technically 2.667% raise.
Right, but it flows over, so I mean, it's a difference when the year starts. So I mean, they do have it is an increase for 12 months. So their increases will take place in April, and that increase follows through till the end of March the following year, every
Correct.
year. It's just a fiscal year as opposed to a calendar year. But it's not like, you can't really, you can't really say they're not getting 3% for a whole year. Maybe not the calendar year,
They're
but
not
for
getting
a
3%
fiscal
this
year, you are.
calendar year.
For the budget, they're only getting it for
9 months.
9 months.
So what's the increase? 1,587, 911.
Basically what it did is our starting salary currently is $25 an hour. It basically raised the starting salary to $25.75 per hour. And that's in step 1, grade 4, which is what a firefighter advanced EMT starts at. And through our step and wage scale, it just populates through the spreadsheet that way.
You said it went from 25 what to 20, 25, 70?
$25 to $25.75.
Oh, so it's 75 cents an hour raise.
So unless I did something wrong, if you take this year's budget number, 1.587, Charlie, I'll defer to you on this, you being the mathematician amongst this. 1587911, and we subtract last year's appropriated 1559791. That equals a change of 28,120. If we take that number and divide it by last year's appropriated amount, that tells us what the increase is, right?
Okay, so 28,000 divided by 1,559.
Yeah, that equals 1.8%.
What was the dollar amount? 28.
28,120,
So that's that math is I get 1.8%.
right? So it's not a 3% COLA. It's a 1.8% COLA. How do we reconcile that discrepancy?
That's only for 9 months. The first 3 months, they're going to get paid what they're getting paid now.
But the appropriated amount from last year is for 12 months.
That's correct.
The commissioner's budget for this year will be for 12 months.
9 months of it which will be at the increase, and 3 months it will be at this year's rate.
Right, but next year they'll get 3 months of an increase.
Look at
Next
3
year.
months of what they're getting
Right.
at the end of this year, and then if the commissioners and the budget committee approve a salary adjustment next year, technically it'll start on April 1st.
Right. So they're getting
Unless the
12
commissioners
months
change the
worth of
policy.
increased pay. Just because it doesn't line up with the calendar year.
And that's what's confusing you, trying to come up with the percentage,
Okay,
because you're doing it for based upon 12 months when it's not. It's only on 9 months.
so the increase in the appropriation for career salaries and wages is increasing 1.802%. Right?
Overall,
Overall.
yes,
Right.
The employee will have 3%, their weekly pay will be 3% higher.
starting in April.
Starting in
Starting
April.
in April.
And then next year we'll have 4 months where we continue the 3% and then whatever.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying, and that 3% will be enjoyed through March 30th.
Next month.
Right.
I know, it's like, you guys are kinda like losing me on your 9-month budget, because, I mean, we're budgeting, the budget
12 months.
is 12 months. I mean, the budget's going, I mean, this budget is from April to
Right, but that's
March.
3 months that.
This budget runs from January 1st to December 31st.
Right.
That's because we're on a calendar year, fiscal year the same. We don't have a fiscal year where it either starts in April or September.
Oh,
or
okay, well,
October.
my bad, I did not realize that we run on a calendar year
Yeah,
for
it's
a
a calendar
budget.
year.
Yeah.
That makes about as much sense.
We tried to change it a couple of years
So,
ago.
so
The district
realize that by the
already-
time district meeting comes, they've already been running 2.5 months.
Right, I didn't realize. Who came up with that crap?
So, can someone explain to me how the increase, I know what you're saying, it's 9 months, but this is a 12-month appropriation.
Correct.
So what I see is the salaries, you're asking for the salaries to be 1.8% higher next year than they are this year.
I think they're both, I think you're saying, if I correct, both things are true.
That's true.
What we're asking for is 1.8, the total amount we're asking for in the 25 budget is 1.8% high. However, the employees are getting a 3% raise. So both things are true. Does that make, I know
No,
that's.
it makes no sense
So
to
it
me
would be
whatsoever.
like on January 1st, if everybody had 1.8% raise for the entire 12-month calendar, that's how. the
That's how it
numbers
would work out, yes.
But because they're not getting a raise for 4 months, you take that money that you didn't get for that 4 months and you just expedite it to the ending of the rest of the budget, so then it works out to the 3.
Right.
So,
So it just won't get a raise for 4 months, and then you just jet it at the end.
Yeah, January, February, and March.
Yeah, 3 full months.
Yeah.
So everything on here that we approve or the district approves is what the chief starts spending on January 1st, except for pay.
That doesn't start until April 1st.
But that's,
The pay will be the same as what everybody's being paid
Right.
this year. And then
So-
in April, after district meeting, it will change.
see, this is one of the problems with the way this is done, is it's confusing. If it's confusing to me, it's going to be confusing to the general population, because that's, I
Okay, so,
characterize myself as general population.
so then we just need to tell the general population this 1.8%.
Exactly, that's my point. That is exactly my point. Why are we calling it a 3% COLA when it's only increasing the budget 1.8%? Should we be calling it a 1.8%?
COLA,
That's the average for the year.
yeah.
Right.
It's a 3%, it just begins April 1st. Because that's the way the commissioners wanted it.
now, would that be a commissioner's warrant article to change, to put the
No,
payroll,
It's just a
No.
policy. The commissioners can change the policy anytime they feel like it.
to run the employee wages on
Yeah.
on a calendar year instead of the budget year?
It always
I mean,
has been on a calendar year, or at least since I've been here.
Mhm.
And then this past year, they changed it to the, so that
Why?
any raise.
That just
because-
confuses this. Why would you guys do that, Paul?
That's Paul, I wasn't in favor of it.
No, I wasn't asking you why. I'm looking at Paul. I mean,
You know, I honest with you, I don't remember why. There was a reason though.
I mean, what could possibly be a reason to do that? I mean, because like Paul was saying, this is why we get into trouble when we go for a district meeting and everybody's like, "What the hell's going
Well,
on?"
I think because it's that district meeting,
They cut
they cut the
the
budget,
budget $136,000.
they got their raise on January 1st. Now, are you gonna ask them to pay
Well,
that money back, or are you just gonna cut
And I
their pay?
understand that, but I mean, it's
I
almost
kinda
like,
see the sense of it, but I also, it makes it clear as mud too.
So,
I thought if they didn't want to start the pay raise till April 1st, I thought that's fine, but fund it for the full year, and if the budget gets passed as
Retroactive
requested,
it.
then it should be retroactive to January 1st, and Kathy has to cut a couple extra
That's
checks.
confusing too.
So, that's, I
if
mean,
you,
Well, they did that a couple of years. I mean, it was. retroactive.
Right.
It used to be.
Long time ago.
it was a long, since I've been here, it's January 1st, that's the way it
Can I
is.
go off on a bit of a tangent here and recommend to the commissioners that you write a warrant article again this year, because we tried this a couple of years ago, to change the fiscal year and the budget year to be the same. Please do that. That will eliminate all this baloney.
They are the
So
same.
they are the same.
They are the
The
same.
fiscal year and
No.
the calendar
Well, they're
year.
not. The
The
budget
fiscal-
year is January to December. The fiscal year is April.
Only for payroll.
It's not.
Pay.
Only
The
for
fiscal
payroll.
year is still
He
January.
wants to go from,
right.
yes.
They did one 18-month budget one year, and now they run, as I think it's May, they have their meeting at the same time in March, but their budget doesn't start, I believe, till it's either May 1st or June 1st.
July 1st.
July 1st.
Does
And that
DRA
way-
not allow it?
Hmm?
Does DRA not allow that?
No, they did,
They
Sanford
do,
just did.
yeah.
It's tough because we're a village district that operates under two,
Right.
so it was, I know that DRA doesn't sometimes like when the village district changes. But the school district's different, so their fiscal year's different. But yes, Sanford just did it, what, 3 years ago, chief?
Even more than that.
Yeah, you just run an 18-month budget one year.
Right. I suggest we look at that again.
We're not going to solve that this year because I think we're too deep in the winter.
Just saying, I
because time
tried,
is-
I tried to do that in like 2015 and 2016, and everybody said, oh, that's too confusing.
Okay,
That was the end of it.
so let's go back to the 3% versus 1.8. So if the 1.8 is actually occurring over 9 months, then if you were to project that over 12 months, it would be 2.4%.
We got 2.25, 3/4 of
Yeah,
3%.
3/4 of 1.8 is 0.6%. So it's 0.6% every 3 months.
I know we've had some employee changes. Kathy, would that be the reason?
It could, part of it, yes.
And you guys' salaries, so we're not talking about you, right? We're
No.
talking about
The other 7,
And this big number includes you guys.
Yes, it
So
does.
That would bring it down. I'm good with that.
I don't want to belabor this point, but I don't think it's wise to go up before the district and say that it's a 3% pay raise or COLA, whatever you want to say, when in fact it's less than that.
You can call it whatever you want. I don't care what you
Well,
call it.
I'm trying to figure out where did the number come from? Where did
It came from if you take our starting salary, it's $25 an hour, you increase that to $25.75,
And that's 3%.
that's a 3%. And that's what, everybody's salary is based off that starting salary because of pay and wage scale. It's a
So
spreadsheet.
everybody went up 75 cents, or did everybody go up the percentage of 75%?
Percentage of 75%, 75 cents, because it's an Excel spreadsheet. So in step 4, it goes from $25 to $25.75. In step 5, it's 3% more, 2.5%?
2.5.
2.5% more.
So what you did was you gave everybody a 75-cent raise, not a percentage raise.
It was a percentage.
It was a percentage rate. What do you say?
So-
The standard, the starting rate is 25.75, or
Right.
25, or 25.
25.
It was
They raised it to
25,
Which is
25.75.
3%.
which is 3%.
Right.
Right.
And then that populated from that base rate all the way across.
So if I make $30 an hour, I'm gonna make 75 cents plus
We get 3% of $30 an
of
hour.
$30.
So that would be like
A dollar.
Right.
You would go, if you were making $30 an hour, you technically got a 90-cent raise.
Okay,
That's all right.
so with that being said,
Am I right? I just want to make sure I'm right before I.
It is.
no,
Yeah, you're
Yes.
right about right.
so,
75 is the least, 70 cents is the least amount they're gonna get for a raise. It will just be higher from there.
right. So, and I'm sorry I'm belaboring this, but I think it's important that this number be accurate. So, if everybody is getting a 3% raise, why is it not reflected in these numbers?
Because it's,
How about if we put it as is, and on the line item, whatever it is after the fire hats and the school thing, whatever the number is, say it's 3%. Now, it begins April 1st, therefore, it's only 1.8% this calendar budget year.
Right,
Yay, it's only 1.8, we're not giving everyone a
that's,
20% raise.
that's exactly my point.
so we'll just
I mean-
put 1.8% there. Take out the 3% and put
It's just how we
1.8.
articulate it at the district meeting. We're just gonna make sure everybody.
Well, I don't want it to look like now we're saying it's 1.8 when in
But
fact it's 3.
it doesn't say
You know?
anything there, Paul, it's just a figure.
I get it, but I
Somebody
heard,
from the public will probably, yeah, they usually do.
Right.
They usually ask.
So when it comes up, somebody says, what was the raise this year? Just articulate, just exactly what they said. It was based off the starting wages. So the starting wage, $25 an hour, was raised to 75 cents, which is 3% of the $25. And then across the board with the steps, it was
Okay.
3% from there.
next logical question.
But we just need to explain, but that doesn't affect the whole year because they don't start getting paid that until April 1st. That's why you will see a discrepancy. If you got your calculators out there, folks,
You know they're gonna be.
Well, dude, I mean, it's just a matter of how you articulate the answer, really. I mean, and then even if you articulate it right, some still don't get it, and some go,
I still don't get it. I really don't, and I'm sorry, but I just don't understand how you can increase everybody's wage 3% and not have it change this number, 3%.
Right, well, you take that entire 3% and you multiply it, or you divide it by 12 and then multiply it by 3. I guess that'd be the easiest way, because you've got 3 months that raise does not take effect. That's why it looks like that.
But that raise will be in effect the next year for the first 3 months.
It will, but it'll be on a different operating budget, because it's the operating budget's 1 January to 31 December. See, that's why I was just saying to Paul, it doesn't make any damn sense why we would have an operating budget on a calendar year and a payroll budget on a fiscal year.
It was very hard to work this all out. So I had to do 13 weeks
Right.
at this year's rate, and then take that rate for everybody and increase it so that it was
Right.
different for 39
And
weeks.
then next year, we gotta try to articulate to them why we should go to an 18-month
Yeah, good one.
budget.
Yeah.
Let's wait until.
Trust me, I know, I get frustrated as hell,
As I said 3 years ago.
Yeah.
but anyway,
No, I get it, yeah, you know.
so. But we have the motion on the table for $1,587,911.
I'll second it.
It's been seconded.
Seconded?
Yep.
Yes.
Do we have any more discussion on that?
Well, I'm only doing one line item, but it's gonna affect the next 3 line items as well. It's gonna, that increase, that COLA is gonna affect holiday pay, overtime pay.
Well, the numbers that are on there all
It's already
reflect that.
been
Nothing's gonna
Yeah.
change. The number that's on here is what's been figured out already. So, that said, let's take a vote on it. All those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay, please. Ayes have it. Next on the list is the holiday pay. 110.5, I move that we fund 110.5 holiday pay in the amount of $72,372.
Second to that.
Seconded. Do we have any discussion on that?
Yes. So how many hours per holiday do the employees get paid?
12.
12, so a shift,
Why is it 12?
because that's what a single shift is, 12 hours.
So that's what your shift is?
I don't get paid for holidays.
You don't get paid. Do any of the salary people get paid for holidays? Okay.
They get the holiday off.
You get the day off.
I get the day off, but I'm not salaried.
Okay, so salary gets the day off, and this is only paying for the call guys.
Career.
Careers.
That's what I meant. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. So the guys that are working that day will work their 24-hour shift, plus make 12 hours holiday pay.
Correct.
And the guys
But-
that aren't working that day also get that 12 hours.
The guys that weren't, okay,
How many holidays a year do we pay?
11.
11.
11? Yeah, that's the standard.
So
The state went to 12, or somebody went to 12.
what's your normal work day in hours?
8.
What's your normal work day in hours?
It's supposed to be, yeah.
I should say 8.5.
So
It's 8.5, but
Yeah.
So you guys are getting the equivalent of 8 hours paid
Right.
for that time off. Why are we paying the career firefighters 12 hours?
that's the policy. And it's been the policy forever. And it's
because you can't predict when you're gonna, well, you can, I guess, if you wanna look at the schedule, you can't predict when you're gonna be working, when you're not gonna be working and stuff like that.
No, I
It's
get it.
just-
I think it's important to pay the employees for holidays. I'm just questioning,
I think if you'll find, there's usually two different ways to do it around the state, anyway, in the state of New Hampshire. The one way is the way we do it, 12 hours straight pay, whether you're working or not. The other way to do it, I think a lot of places pay 8.5 hours of holiday pay, but they pay overtime for the people working on the holiday. We do not pay overtime for the people working on the holiday. So usually you'll find one or the other, I think is, if you look
And it
around.
balances out.
So yeah, whether you work or not, you don't get paid overtime for the holiday.
It's straight time.
well,
It's straight time on the holiday.
thank you for that explanation, because that makes total sense to me.
Plus the fact that 8-hour employees generally work the 8-hour, Monday through Friday, the 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Whereas every firefighter's on a 24-hour shift when they're on shift. So that's where the 12 hours.
Well, that doesn't help me. What Sean said helped me.
Okay.
Because,
Right, but it's also different in the hours worked, that's all I was making.
right, but your analogy doesn't make sense, because it's an 8-hour shift, get paid 8 hours. It's a 24-hour shift, you get paid 12 hours. So to me, there's no correlation. What Sean
Right,
said
but
makes.
you consider it 2 shifts though. The 24-hour shift that the chief says, he said they're 12-hour shifts.
Do your career guys work 12-hour shifts or 24-hour shifts?
Well, they work 24-hour shifts, but they're really technically 2 12-hour shifts put together.
The 12-hour holiday pay goes back to when the department first went full-time with career employees. They were working 12-hour shifts, so that's where the 12 hours came in. It goes
Okay,
back to
but they're not
them.
working 12-hour shifts, now they're working 24
They're working
hours.
24s.
So,
Well, if you read the
But-
policy manual, the 24-hour shift is really 2 12-hour shifts put together.
Yes,
So
they're happy with 12 hours.
they're still working 12-hour shifts, but they're just put together.
And this number, 73,000, is just the spreadsheet of what everybody's gonna get.
Yes,
Whatever raise they get or don't get or COLAs, it's gonna be holidays, and this is kind of the number.
yes, that's the number.
that's the number based on the
So you must have
1.587.
figured out like, what is there, 4 holidays probably?
Yes,
4?
that's how.
Yes.
Okay.
I had
so
to stop and break
that
it out.
was another one that you had to say.
Yes.
that. Oh, boy.
It was fun.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
big.
man, right, it is good,
Yeah.
sure.
Right.
Okay.
Any further discussion on that one? All right, all those, well, the original motion was for the 72,372. All those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Next line item, overtime, line item 111 at, did I skip? No, I got
No, you're right.
all right, and that is at $369,288. Second.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let's talk about it. Let's have discussion.
Question is, before we go too far, is were we, on the other line item for the education stuff, we cut some of that out? Would that get cut out of this overtime line as well, as far as pay, or that was completely?
There's tuition, materials,
Okay.
and stuff.
So that
Outside
wouldn't
stuff.
be factored into this one as far as like you were budgeting for 24 hours of overtime for these classes in this line item?
No,
Okay.
not in this line.
So overtime pay for education wouldn't come out of this overtime
Well,
line?
if they were going to the academy for a class, the overtime, if they were getting overtime, would be out of this line item. If they were on duty, you know, you're on duty.
Yeah. But you'd have to backfill somebody for overtime.
Yes.
So I just don't know if where we cut that other one, if that has to be adjusted as this one. You know what I mean? If you cut like 24 or 36 hours out of the other one, so that would be like 36 hours of overtime out of this one, roughly. Where that, I don't remember what we cut, but I was bringing that up if anybody
not even affect that
Didn't
number.
account for it.
No, because we
Yeah,
always
that's
underfunded.
it. So, what did we cut? We cut,
Kathy was saying up here is that it's not reflected there, because they're always underfunded.
We always underfund the overtime line.
oh, okay, so it's not an accurate, it's.
No, it's not.
It's
I
just
can
an
tell you how
estimate.
it come, how I get up to that number. I take all the vacation time that's available, all the sick time, personal time, sick personal time that's available, floating holiday, the average of the last 3 years of sick time, so that's where it gets really crazy, compared to the possible total sick time. And I come out with a overtime liability of $503,114. Then I figure in what the average use of sick time is over the past 3 years, and don't request the total liability, I request the average of the last 3 years. And that brought it down to what my thing of 381,776 is. But then we reduced, the commissions reduced the line item for salaries, so that reduced that amount further to the 369,288. So that's where we get to that number.
And I assume your sick time's probably going up, that just seems like
It's-
every,
we're
this time
over
of year,
this
you're not
year.
gonna eat there. I'm just gonna, that's probably the biggest increase then, is probably back calculation into this, just that people are using more of their
Yes,
time.
well, I can tell you what happened this year that's blowing us out of the water is, there were 3 babies born that I didn't account for. That's Family Medical Leave Act. They're gone. That's not accounted for. We had an employee leave that we had a vacancy for 2 months. That's 2 months worth of overtime for a single employee. And then we had an employee that was out on occupational injury for an extended period of time, about 2 months. None of that was accounted for, and we have to cover it. And that was a lot.
How far over, that
So-
302 is through when, and how much more do you think it'll be?
That's through today.
Yeah, so we're,
So a month and a half left.
Yeah.
more or less.
in November, there's still people hunting, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah. So is that number gonna be closer to like 315, 320?
This year.
Yeah.
I don't know what the final number's gonna be. Not off the top, I'd have to go back. I have a spreadsheet in my office, I didn't bring that with me.
Hold on.
I know Kathy, you have access to it, Kathy?
Of course I do.
Yeah, at the end of October or
We're
something
gonna
like
be
that, we were
adding-
at 101% of our overtime budget.
We're gonna be adding almost another $23,000 to that figure. Yes. Almost.
So that's gonna, is that 33,000? Just more than me.
323.
Almost 23,000.
Yeah, it's like
Round number.
That's like 33,000 over budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be,
No, I was just trying to do the math in my head. Without pulling up my calculator.
You added 3% to that number, you're still at 332.
And then we only had $5,000 worth of training this year, because training basically got 100% cut if it wasn't a refresher. Nobody trained if it wasn't a refresher this year.
yeah.
Basically, that number looks like it has about 35,000 in training roughly,
Yeah.
give or take.
further discussion on that? Hearing none. The motion was for the $369,288. All those in favor of saying, in favor state so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. And the last one is
Call company.
call salaries. Line number, I move that we fund line number 120 in the amount of $69,045. Have a second?
I'll second.
Second? Discussion?
Yeah, why is everybody else's 50,000? What was the chief's was 50 and then commissioners for 69?
I actually changed my request, and after, was because of where we are this year. We're gonna overexpend this year by $3,000 or $4,000 to $50,000. We're hiring 3 new call folks that have to go through a training process. And if they take the average hours of, over the course of the year that every other call employee does, factoring how many call employees we have, that's the number I will need to fund the call line next year.
So the call members get, is that just, I'm just confused, do they get paid to go to like fire 1 and fire 2?
Not while they're going, and we wouldn't send somebody to fire 1 or fire 2 until they've been here 6 or 7 months or so, until they can prove that, that they want to be there. But after that time, we will send them.
So a lot of the training is shift ride time, so the 3 members that started January 1st, we don't have the money that started this year. So all 3 of them will start right around January 1st sometime. They all have to ride 4 hours with each shift, so it's 16 hours ride time each one. And then we have actually that's why I had to run up. We're having the training right now, I just had a little capacity. So we have the Monday night training twice a month also. So that's covered, that's where the training dollar figure for the 3 new employees comes in for next year.
So how much will they, I guess I'm still confused, so they get paid for the 16-hour ride time, but are they getting paid when they go to fire 1 and fire 2 as well?
If
we approve it for them to go, like if they want to go before the 6 months to fire 1, fire 2, we'll sponsor them, may even pay for the course, but we're not paying for their hourly rate. If they're after their 6-month time, 7-month time, and they want to go and they haven't gone on their own, we'll pay for them to go.
Like pay them out?
Pay them hourly.
Oh crap, never heard of that.
I got
Call
paid.
members, never heard of call members.
how I started, I paid, still forget.
Never heard of it. Wow.
Well, it could be a call guy, right? This is just helpers out in the public, and call.
I think they've done that for years.
Wow,
You know,
pretty rare.
I mean, when I was on there, and it was a long time ago, they paid us. Not that it was a lot of money, but
Yeah, that's definitely not the one.
So it's was it a 180-hour class?
I don't know,
I
doesn't
forget.
sound
They've
right.
changed it so many times, I can't remember now. But that isn't in that line item. That's salary for firefighter 1 and firefighter 2. It's just if they come to calls. And their ride time and their Monday night times. Training.
So where would that pay be? If you've got somebody at 7 months and they go to the academy?
That's where I would take
It
it
would
out.
come out of there.
Oh, you're saying, right, but that's not figured in there.
No.
Right. Just to clarify that.
Did you change the rate for the call?
Yes, so starting January 1st, I gave them $1 an hour increase. So it goes from $20 to $21 an hour.
you remember, it's cheaper than hiring a full-time guy.
It's what?
Cheaper than hiring a full-time person. I mean, what you're paying right there, you pay for one person. If that, probably not even pay for it.
How many call
You're
points?
getting, how many people?
We have 10 right
10 people.
But January 1st, you're on 13. It all holds. Correct.
Yes. Well, two of them still have to pass their physical, but
Correct.
one's already set.
cheap labor.
One and four stick around, that's the problem. That's why we wait for 6, 8 months, see how they do it. That way we're not putting somebody through and then they're just leaving right away.
I think we have 7 employees on this department that started here as call firefighters. So we've had pretty good success rate. Sometimes they get hired somewhere else and they come back. Sometimes they get hired here and then they leave for another department like Portsmouth or someplace else. But I have a slide on that, PowerPoint slide on it.
They could be a full-time firefighter here and then call firefighter in the town and then.
Yep.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. The original motion was for $69,045. All those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Okay, now we go back to page 2.
Right, now we'll go back to page 2. Do it, Deuce. And these numbers are good, so
Those are good,
everything's good because we didn't change anything. so.
correct.
And frankly, goes,
I move line 220 at 12,583.
I'll second it. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it.
I move line 225 Medicare at 30,430.
I'll second that. Any discussion on those? Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
I move line 230 retirement at 577, 150.
I'll second that. Any discussion on that?
Just for clarification, I'm looking at the appropriated for last year and then actual, did we just make that like accounting error maybe to do that? What would it?
We haven't fully expended that line.
Oh, okay.
It goes on a weekly basis.
How would it go down?
Because the raise is only not a full year raise.
Yeah, but they'd still be making the same amount of money. Even if we didn't give them a raise, it still should be the same amount of money for retirement.
We've had changes in personnel
We had some
since.
different personnel too.
Okay.
Yeah, because we should be coming at 550 if I'm not mistaken. So we're gonna come in 35 on that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can do
Yes, you had some personnel shifting.
Yep.
Correct.
Lower the
A
hours.
vacancy.
Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure that it's like on.
All right.
And
Any
that-
other? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. That's a set percentage of your salary, right?
Yes.
Correct. And that percentage is dropping in July 1st.
So this is another thing we had to work out. So the current rate is 30.5 or something like that. It's gonna go to, was it 28 point something?
It's 30.35 and it's dropping to 29.15.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the
But
amount that we
that's-
have to contribute is less.
That's
Well.
effective on July 1st, 2025.
Correct.
Just to make it more confusing.
Exactly.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Nothing.
But that's because the state operates July 1st to June 30th.
That is true.
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion on that one? All right. All those in favor of this motion, state so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Page 5. Dues and subscriptions.
All right. Page 5, dues and subscriptions. I guess we'll, actually, they don't have separate line items, but
No,
I'll
they
tell you
don't.
what, I'm gonna go ahead, I'll move that we fund line 560 in the amount of $6,518.
I'll second it.
Seconded? All right, now discussion.
Did we do unemployment compensation on page 2?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
I do get grammar, so
Oh yeah, we did that before, it was already done.
That's right.
I've been getting it for a long time. I got like that.
I'm comparing 2025 budget to 2024 actual. What in 2024 actual has not been expended yet?
Grammarly?
Excuse me?
Grammarly.
Down at the bottom.
Has not been expended. And then the New Hampshire Association of Fire Chiefs is not completed. And there's,
The chief fire officer certification?
Yeah, well, I realize the difference between 2024 appropriated and 2024 actual. I can see that. They're adjacent columns. Maybe I should rephrase my question. Do you plan on actually spending the appropriated amount in 2024?
Yes, I wouldn't have put it in if I wasn't planning on spending it.
Is it required that it be spent?
Everything in here is necessary.
Well, I guess like so it's $1,000 a year for the New Hampshire Association of Fire Chiefs,
That's
times 2.
times 2.
Right, so, just to piggyback on Paul here, like right now, we're at 389. So, I mean, what is that?
So every month there's a meeting, and due to whatever circumstances, we haven't attended every meeting that we should have been attending.
Right,
Difference, we're trying to not spend money.
right. So it's a pay-as-you-go subscription?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a
Well,
yearly,
there's
there's
an
a yearly
annual-
cost, and then there's a monthly, for each meeting, there's a cost.
Yeah.
Right.
Pay for
Okay.
lunch.
Sounds like a racket, yeah.
It's a very lean operation, I can assure you.
Kind of like Rotary, you pay your membership due, but if you go have the lunch, it's $40 for lunch, that's kind of the same.
Right.
Similar.
In our yearly, what is it, it's not retreat, chief, it's, that got canceled this year.
It's the
Up in Waterford.
educational weekend that we had, that got canceled, so.
So the chief fire officer certification, obviously, guys, well, you're like $310 down. Is that a program that you have to go through, a certification?
Yes. It's a application that you have to fill out, it's like 45 pages long, and you have to explain all your other certifications, qualifications, education, training, have to get letters of reference from other people to get this certification. It's kind of a hard thing to do.
Right, well, and my question is more so not to question what it is, but are you going to expend the $350 this year for your, is that something you cut?
And this
because-
yeah, I cut it this year.
Right, now, what position does that put the department in by not having that certification?
I don't know if it puts the department in any particular position that, with or without, but it's, so when you put your name out there and you have this certification, it holds more weight than if you don't.
That sounds to me like something the employee should be paying for.
education part of the, there's an
So
education.
I'm a licensed electrician in New Hampshire. I pay for.
I
my
need an
renewal.
electrician.
I pay for my renewal, I pay for my recertification classes out of my pocket.
You're not an employee,
Excuse
you're
me?
self-employed, right?
Now I am.
I pay for all my education, my licensing, of course.
But you know all the tricks for writing it off.
You can write that off. It's a business expense.
That's all I have. Anybody else have anything? And again, most of the time when I'm asking questions, if we're gonna sit in front of the public, I just wanna be able to give them an intelligent answer when it.
Oh, why not?
So, I'm asking my, yes, my own benefit. Not necessarily sharpshooting always.
Well, I think it's important to note that, I'll speak for myself. Under no circumstance am I pointing a finger or saying something untoward or nefarious is going on. I just want to understand where all the money's going and make sure that we're as frugal yet still operational as we can be. I'm not going to arbitrarily say, we need to cut this budget by 5%.
Because we got plenty of people stand up at district and do it.
Right.
Yeah,
No, because that to me is arbitrary.
right.
And that's not helpful.
No, I've been to too many district meetings. If you don't have the answer, stage it, it's like a
It's
freaking feeding
miserable.
frenzy. So, that's all. Is there any other discussion on that? So the original motion was for the entire amount of 6,518. Unless anybody has any further discussion on that, we'll move it to a vote. Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it.
I move line 620, office supplies at $3,000.
I'll second it. Any discussion on that? That's actually just for data destruction,
No,
correct?
that's
No.
zero.
Data destruction, we're doing.
Well, that's zero, okay. My bad.
Yes,
I had my eyes on it, they still don't work.
data destruction is going away.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The
I
ayes have
move
it.
620.1 data destruction at $0.
I'll second it.
Is that something that has to be done occasionally, or
All the time.
is everything on the cloud?
It has to be done yearly. What's happened is that we've gotten the files down enough so that we can handle it in-house now.
So you no longer contract that out,
No, we do not.
but it's still getting done.
Yes, it's still getting done.
Shred our own.
You don't need to have any proof that it's been shredded.
No, because we're shredding it.
The Secretary of State doesn't require proof of
I think at the end of the day, absolute data destruction, when they show up with a big box truck, they just take all your papers out and throw in the back of the truck and they shred it all.
No, but where I worked, when I worked in the hotel business, once a year, the data destruction truck would show up. And when the guy left, because we had to make sure that we were documenting that we were getting rid of certain year files. And they wrote that down so that it was certified.
He checked the files,
No, he took our word, but we,
so the signature meant nothing.
I certified that your story's okay.
right.
It's a good story.
Sounds more like an internal policy kind of deal. All right, so we have the motion. Any more discussion on $0 funded? All those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Is there any way you can cut that, chief?
Yeah, 50%.
Next year, you won't even see it.
I'll move that we fund line 625 for postage in the amount of $300.
So,
Second? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none?
Well, yeah, there is some discussion. So the chief asked for 500, all the commissioners voted 300. Does that include envelopes or just?
That's just postage.
Just the stamp. What is it, 73 cents, 78 cents?
78.
78, yeah, it's
Is it
gone
going
up how
up
many
that
times?
it went
Yeah.
up again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Another 65 still.
So that's 384 stamps. Do you mail out 384 letters?
It went up
I don't count.
since the morning.
Oh, really?
That's been a lot.
We need better accounting.
Mail.
We try and email as much as possible.
Why did the commissioners reduce that?
It's like she says she tries to email as much as she can.
Well, $300 buys you 384 stamps.
As long as there's no other increase.
Right.
Forever
Well, we
stamps.
buy, when we do buy stamps, we buy the forever stamps, so
So this year you'll buy $400, $482 worth of forever stamps.
It was 69 cents on Thursday when I went and played golf. That's insane.
Do you have a postage machine?
Yeah, I have a
That's the
machine.
difference.
Right, so it goes up. When it goes up, it goes up.
it's connected to the internet.
Right, exactly.
Any more discussion on that? Hearing none. All those in favor of $300 for line 625, state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. I'll move that we fund line 635 for gasoline in the amount of $6,000.
I'll second
Second, any other discussion on that?
it. It says up 2.2%. Is that the usage that's gone up or the price?
The price of gasoline, according to this Consumer Price Index, gasoline over the course of this year compared to last year is up 2.2%. So,
It'll go down over the course of
2% increase, even though it's kind of gone down right now.
Drill, baby, drill.
We may have some stamps, right? It won't be here till 26, and next year we may have to up the gasoline.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't upset the people.
Any further discussion on that? Oh, we're still discussing it down
I don't know if that would
there? Any other further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the funding at $6,000, state so by saying aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Move line 636 diesel, 24,000.
Second that. Any discussion on that? Hearing none.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's one thing that never seems to go down, ever.
No, it doesn't.
It amazes me, they don't have to process it as much either.
I know. It's like one of the lowest grade fuels out there.
And you said this actual is through today?
Yes. However, when you're looking at the gas and the diesel, that is through the end of last month. We get billed once a month.
Once a month on this, so increase it to the end of October.
Yeah, so it's about $2,000 a month.
1992, to be exact, and 30 cents. So 24,000 is right on line.
Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Books and periodicals, I'll move that we fund line 670 for books and periodicals at $85.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion on that?
Does anybody read it?
Yes.
Yes.
It's $85 well spent.
I'm surprised, I don't, but I know there is people who do. Probably should.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Department Awards. I move that we fund Department Awards, line 680, at $3,000.
Second that.
Any discussion on that?
Chief, is that sufficient, or you haven't spent anything this year?
Haven't really spent anything this year, but I think it should be sufficient.
Do you have to,
December 5th, I'll let you know, December 6th, I'll let you know if it's sufficient.
I was going to say,
do
big
you,
expenses coming up.
yeah. Have you put off any awards this year because of the lack of funding?
We haven't had any awards this year.
Do you plan on putting?
Well, there's going to be the award ceremony and get-together on December 5th of this year, that's planned. You should have gotten an invitation.
And you, so you're gonna chew up the $3,000?
Any other further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Say they did that ball. Chew up for the gym.
See you on the 5th.
Well, my concern was that you weren't gonna have enough if you weren't spending it this year because of the tight budget.
I think it's, the $3,000 is well worth the camaraderie, get-together, and all that, the recognition that
Could not agree more.
You all set, Paul?
Yep.
Get the lights together and the boards together.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
maybe next year we'll go for an open bar.
You better
Good luck with
that.
Triple.
You had it up as the firefighters?
Maybe we can arrange a fundraiser on the side.
Gonna have to.
Wednesday night.
We're pretty good at that, actually. I move that we fund line 685.01 for career uniforms at $10,800. Second?
Second.
We have a second discussion on the career uniforms.
So this is an allowance, so
It's a
the,
reimbursement. So they're allowed to spend up to $600 a year on replacement uniforms, and we reimburse them. Usually it's, we get billed directly from the vendor. Once in a while, somebody will buy their boots from somebody that's not one of our regular vendors, and they give us a receipt, and we reimburse them for that.
Right, and that's just like this stuff that they're wearing.
Yeah.
It's not, because as I said, that's not turn up yet.
No, it's uniforms, duty uniforms, boots.
is there a
shoes.
requirement that that be worn during any TNFD
Functions?
functions?
Well, I don't know. While they're working, they have to wear
We have a uniform policy.
uniform. The uniform. So this is the uniform for me. The firefighters have uniforms that they have to wear, required to wear, actually.
That's what I was at.
Yes.
Anybody else?
It has to be PFAS free.
Right.
What's that mean?
It's a new word to say.
Intentionally, any intentionally and no additive
Polyfluoride,
PFAS into the
something,
manufacturing
whatever that
process of the garment.
Yeah.
Wow.
Become difficult in the turnout gear. It's not so difficult for us, because we buy cotton, but for any departments that do FR, cotton's much cheaper, it doesn't last as long. A lot of departments use FR, which is fire retardant gear. It's like clothes, like what I'm wearing right now would be FR. There's a lot of PFAS in that. We do not. We only issue cotton clothing to save the money. So,
Does Nomex have all that stuff?
yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know. Some brands do, some brands don't. I just
I'm sure if I
ask.
put in a claim, I'll try to. Anyway, all right. Any other discussion on the uniforms? Hearing none, all those in favor of 10,800 state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
I move 68501,
New employees?
new employees at 1250.
Second it.
Who's a new employee?
That's just in case.
That's in case.
That's to get them their first set of clothing.
Are you fully staffed now? And that's 19?
Yes.
So-
Well, 18 uniformed and 1 civilian. Kathy's the
Me.
19th.
Do you get a clothing allowance?
No,
She can dress however she wants.
Nothing wrong with that. So, if you have 18 that would require uniforms, why do we have 19 in the budget?
in case someone leaves, we're,
Yeah, so if someone leaves, we have to replace that person. And to get that person started up, it costs about that, it actually costs more than that. But
yes.
So,
you need 3 or 4 pairs of pants, 3 or 4 t-shirts, these types of shirts, all the shoes, the boots, it can really add up quickly.
right, well,
Jacket.
I understand the cost of it. What I'm trying to reconcile in my mind is if we have 18 employees requiring uniforms, why are we budgeting for 19?
If someone should leave, we have to outfit them, and they might leave like in November.
Okay,
And
so
we-
what if 2 employees leave?
Then we have to find a
You see where I'm going with this?
Well,
We're trying,
We're funding if something happens.
well, yeah, that's the best way to fund. When you save money for something at your house, do you fund if you need to mow the lawn?
No,
If you have to plow the driveway, you fund, you equip yourself so you can plow the driveway if it happens.
right, but I'm not asking my neighbor to pay for it.
Well,
That's the
something
difference.
that's, personal. This is your own personal situation. I'm just using that as an example. I'm
Right.
not saying,
we can't go and ask people if they're leaving, so we have to plan for it.
You get it?
5 people could leave. 0 people could
It's
leave.
happened.
That's right,
This is the low figure.
yes.
No,
They
a
say
low
if
figure
some bucks was
would be
cookies
0
and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
You're not kidding, right?
Okay.
So, are we good with that? Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
I move line 685.02, call company uniforms at 2,800.
I'll second it. Any discussion on it?
I'm assuming that's because of the new people, right? Because this year we only had 193. Are you anticipating like people buying stuff next year?
this year I didn't let anybody buy anything.
Oh.
Yeah, we freeze all uniform purchases. Guys are running around with holes in their shirts.
Oh,
so.
okay, okay.
What do you gotta do right now?
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay.
Aye, sorry, I didn't say aye.
But you didn't say nay.
I
so-
didn't say no.
The ayes have it. You have it yellow, but there's no 0 in it. Do we have to support company uniforms at 0? I don't think we really need to make a motion for that, do we?
No,
Yeah. And we will move on to miscellaneous. Is that just to keep the line open again?
yes.
I move that we fund line 690 for miscellaneous expenses at $1.
Second.
Second, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on that? Hearing none. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? No, the ayes have it for $1. I move that we fund line 775, dry hydrants and cisterns at $4,000.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Discussion on that?
So this is for maintenance, annual maintenance and installation. Are you adding any? Do you plan on adding any next year?
And new ones are, this is mostly for maintenance and the diver that we have to hire every year to do the inspections and repairs. That's what this really is. I should probably change the
Yes.
description.
Yeah.
Because new hydrants, new cisterns come out of a separate fund.
Well, I think it's important that we fund this adequately to keep those screens in clear and,
I agree.
So it's basically, you said it's just for maintenance and the dive and all that.
not
Yes.
installation of
Right.
things.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. I move that we fund line 4900, the entire capital outlay, the 5 separate.
Hold a sec.
Do we have-
Just a-
Oh, it's not highlighted, you can't.
It's not
Oh, I'm
highlighted.
sorry, which one are we doing?
If I highlighted it, it would have taken the gray out.
Right,
It's
the
pressurized
CC.
hydrants and TANs and CC penalties.
Which ones do we do? Just TAN and CC penalties.
And you need
Pressurized hydrants,
too.
you have to vote on it.
Oh.
I plugged it in because we have no choice.
Oh, okay, I was like, I thought we already did it.
No. I wish we had.
All right, okay. So I'll take that back. I move that we fund line 4332 for pressurized hydrants in the amount of $175,220.
I'll second
Seconded, any discussion?
it. Yeah. I say we don't pay for it this year.
Yeah, I was like, anybody says that. it's-
Why don't you take that money and put it right into the legal account then?
No kidding.
Right. So,
We'll be contempt of court.
assuming that Paul was making,
I was.
Joking.
making a jestful comment, any other discussion on that? All those in favor state so by saying aye.
We need that because of our battle with the water district.
Yes. So we
Oh.
came to a settlement, well, a court-ordered settlement, and so that amount is the court-ordered amount for this year. Next year, it'll increase by 4%. For 7 years, it increases by 4%, and that's the length of the court order.
This is year 2.
Yes.
Isn't that good, or is that, what we used
It
to
all
have?
depends on your perspective.
We pay 125, we pay 150 a year.
We were paying like 126 a year, and we had an agreement for that, but there were
Could have been
people
a
that
lot
didn't
more.
like it, so
A lot more.
we ended
Yeah,
up with
it's not
good, it's 75 instead.
Mhm.
Well, maybe at the end of 7 years, the applicant will be so rich that they'll give it to us for free after that.
Pretty sad you have to go to court to be told to pay your damn bills.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
So
Or
we were
maybe they'll give it to us.
we're halfway through that, we got stuff, so just to recap that again, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye, all those opposed? The ayes have it. All right.
TAN interest.
I move, that's just for $1 to keep it open though, correct?
Yes.
I move we fund line 4723 TAN interest at $1 to keep it open.
That's it.
Second, we have any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it for $1. I move we fund 4790 CC penalties in the amount of $1.
I'll second it.
Second, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay.
Now you can do capital.
The ayes have it.
Just for my information, I know we've already voted on in 22 and 23 actual for the pressurized hydrants, there's 0 on these lines
That's correct,
We didn't pay any.
because we didn't pay it.
because we
Right.
didn't pay it.
Yep.
Free.
For a length of time.
Well, there was a lump settlement that they got.
Right.
I guess I'm gonna say, I will say.
We
400
saved a
something.
lot of money though.
It was 400.
Settling.
Was it 400 and something
We
thousand?
did.
$400,000.
$400,000 lump
We would have to
settlement.
pay 400, we didn't pay that though.
So,
Yeah.
we did not, we did not.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to the other motion that I started to make for 4,900. We have 5 line items for $1 apiece to keep each line item open. I move that we fund those in the amount of $5.
Second.
Any discussion on that? We've got land, capital, what is it, capital outlay?
Yes, capital,
Machinery?
yes.
Vehicle and equipment, capital outlay building, design, engineering, architectural fees, and other. And again, those are each $1 to keep them open. Any other discussion on those? Hearing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. $5. Cheaper than a foot long. Do all this before Comstar?
Okay, so the next page,
Is that page 10?
Yep,
it is.
All right.
Yes.
Yep.
this is the apparatus for the budget.
Right. Okay, the next one on the list is, let me see what time it is. 7:22? Yeah, we get a couple. I move that we fund, line number 4220, fire, which includes 331 and 332, in the amount of $37,501.
Second.
Motion and a second. Do any discussion on that?
Do we still use Comstar?
Yes, we do.
And that's just a percentage of what they recuperate for us, right?
6%.
6% of what they bill.
What they bill
What they
or what
collect.
they
What
collect?
What they
bill.
collect, yeah. Oh, what they do?
No,
It's what they collect?
It's
Yeah,
what they collect.
it's what they collect.
That's better.
Yeah, it is better.
Because if it's what they built, it's shot by about,
A lot.
Yeah.
$75,000. Because we only collect about 1/3 to what we build
Right.
around.
Any other discussion on that? Hearing none. All those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Equipment and repairs. This is gonna be a little bit, I guess we'll go down through these all. Does everybody want to go separate? Charlie's shaking his head, absolutely not. Anyone else? All right, then, nobody wants to do that. I move that we fund line 630 for equipment maintenance and repairs in the amount of $19,715.
Well, second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
The Opticon, we have no issues with Opticon? I never-
None right now. I know there's legislation is going to be filed this year. I talked to Mark Cruz, I think he's filed it, I'm not sure yet. That it's going to require the state to take care of all Opticoms that are on state roads. I don't know if it passed.
What's the major increase? I just have to go through it, but just the $4,000 or $5,000, what's that roughly?
EMS equipment.
And this is all being removed from the equipment, correct?
Correct.
And like you said, just for the record, all of these expenses come out of the
Apparatus.
the apparatus and equipment fund, which does not affect the tax rate.
Correct.
Just want to say that out loud on
And
camera.
if monies are appropriated and not expended, they go right back into the apparatus.
Right.
In fact, they never come out of the apparatus and equipment fund until it's
Exactly.
actually expended. It's just a budget.
All right, does anybody have any other discussion on those? Hearing none, all those in favor of funding, fully funding at $19,715, state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The service and testing, does that also come out of the apparatus and equipment fund?
All of what,
Yes,
yes,
everything.
it says it's
Oh,
on
everything on
budget.
this, okay, perfect. So these next couple of pages.
Move line 631, it's in entirety at 23,324.
I'll second that. Any discussion on those?
Do you have climb event down here, and then you have climb event repairs?
One's
we
for
have a
repairs
service-
and one's for
Yes,
service.
we have
and
a
tests.
service contract, so they come in and do a PM on the fire event system, but we always have breakage. And so that's where the other lights in two places.
It's like paying for your inspection and then everything else that they find,
Yeah, well,
essentially.
that goes to the repair.
Huh?
Yeah, that goes to the repair line.
Yep.
Well, the good news is if you look at the 2024 actual, you've only spent 5,600 this year. So, and I assume you pay that when the bill comes, no, yeah.
Any other,
The hard year, the year before, too.
I think they talked about a different line.
yeah.
Don't they go about?
Are we on, you guys have more discussion on this line item that we did?
No, we're discussing. it.
Okay. All right. I'm just allowing for discussion, but I mean, we can move on if y'all like. So, hearing no other discussion for that line item, all those in favor of $23,324, state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Kathy.
Okay.
I move that we fund line 660 vehicle repairs in the amount of $45,063.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. What do we have for discussion? Did you guys have something down there that you wanted to?
The amount attributed to each line, each vehicle is what I anticipate spending on those for things that I know, inspections, some of them need tires, undercoating inspections, that kind of thing. The $20,000 line item at the top ends up getting attributed to each individual line item as we use it up for things that are unexpected.
Right.
Yeah, we were commenting before just that A1's maintenance for the past 2 years, it's just high, but that's really the only one that's that high.
That's at Irwin's right now, too.
Oh, so it's gonna go
Yeah.
up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, what's it there for now?
Same
Same
thing.
thing.
Yeah. Don't buy a diesel. Don't ever buy a diesel. No.
Oh,
Do we always take it to Irwin's?
Well, none of the engines have been.
No.
No,
Well,
we've
because
left
those have
Graffoni and went to Irwin's,
active,
but the
Really?
same problem.
Same problem.
Regeneration.
Just checking.
The ambulance, your ambulances have passive regeneration, and that's where we have a problem with.
Yeah, the big truck's fine. Yeah, it's 12, no problems.
They're doing burnouts like that.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have anything older yet with that, like that 550?
221.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's not old enough.
Okay.
Yep.
How old's everyone?
17.
It's about 110,000.
So, are we good with this? Does anyone want to talk about like, all right, let's take it to a vote. All those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
I move line 740 in its entirety at 93,756.
I'll second it. Do we have any discussion, concerns, complaints, or anything on the individual line items?
Just for protective clothing, I'm assuming that, or how many sets of gear is that budget for? That's, I assume the 3 new guys plus a couple others.
I think replacing,
That's replacing what,
Expiring.
stuff that's
Expired.
Expiring.
Okay. So that's a pretty fixed cost. Pretty set.
we try to keep going on a, that way you don't have 1 year with way up one. This new PFAS law is really putting a stick in it though. We tried to order PFAS-free gear. We actually put an order in for it. They came back and they said, we can't do it because some kind
didn't
of,
pass the.
didn't pass the test. So now, yeah, it's been a, kind of a nightmare.
Anything else stand out to anybody that we want to discuss?
I did question the SCBA washer.
The washer at 45 grand?
Yep.
Do we have one?
Not yet.
I thought we've discussed this many years in a row about,
So what the SCBA washer does is it takes the air packs and washes them through an automatic washer rather than by hand, scrubbing and brushing a bucket. And it more completely removes the carcinogen, smoke, particulates off of the SCBA and webbing and all that stuff, the air pack. You can also wash helmets and stuff like that that you can't put in an extractor to wash. And it makes it cleaner, thus reducing the risk of cancer to our employees.
is that like the mask and
washer
everything?
and a dryer,
Yes, for the turnout gear.
44,000 total each, or
Yeah,
3 years ago.
we got 2 washers, 2 extractors, and 2 dryers, one at each
So
station.
this is something else for that.
Yes.
Dishwasher. No, that's what it is.
Any grants available for something like this?
Yeah, I tried to apply for a grant for it, and one of the questions they ask is, do you have any reserve funds? And if I truthfully answer it, we have over $1 million in reserve funds for this purpose. And then they say, you can buy it yourself.
Okay, all right, no, figured
All right.
I'd ask the question.
So what exactly does it do? It cleans the external components,
Yes.
so the tank, the regulator, the hose. Does it do the mask also?
Yep. The helmet, boots.
The mask alone,
And now you
put that on
do
your
it,
face.
you perform the cleaning.
So we sit on the floor, we get a bucket of soapy water with a brush and go like this.
How many times a year? You only use the SCBA when you go into a building fire.
So anytime we're exposed to an IDLH, or possibly to an IDLH environment, we have the SCBA's on. And it's including training, even with smoke in the building and training, when training and smoke and stuff like that, we still have to wash everything.
You
So they
can't,
get used to quite a bit.
I know you said you had a question about that, Paul, but it's
Well,
approved
it's-
in the commissioner's budget,
Well,
so.
I think it's, I voted against it, to be honest with you, simply because it's a new item. And I think the chief said there's only 2 in the state.
It's more than that now.
Well, that's what I believe he told us. There was only 2. I forget, they were down to 7.
Durham's got one,
Dover's got one, Salem has one, Hudson has one. I don't know if Nashville's is installed yet, but they're getting them now. It's just more and more are getting them. We have the funds to do it, and I feel like we have a responsibility to try to reduce it. If we know the risk and we can reduce it, we have that responsibility to do so.
Right, and again, this is an equipment purchase out of the apparatus and equipment fund.
Yes. These washers have been around. They were around when we got our SCBA's like 5 or 6 years ago, but I didn't purchase one at that time with our SCBA's because the SCBA manufacturers hadn't certified washing their SCBA's in this machine yet. And so I waited until the SCBA manufacturers blessed this machine, said, yes, please use it. And that's when I spent about 1.5 years trying to get grants for it, and found out that they don't want to give us a grant because of our reserve fund balance. And I says, well, this is what we should do for our employees, it's important.
So how do you generate smoke for training?
We use pallets, wood, you know, that type of stuff.
We have a
An old,
285, what is it, 285 oil tank that we have cut a hole in, we have a hinge on it, and we feed that, and then we have 2 pipes that we can control the smoke to the different levels of the training building over there. So if you drive, we don't, like we just did it last Tuesday, was it Tuesday? If you drove by, there was smoke billowing out of that, and it's all generated. And then we will have a small burn pan inside the building, but most of the smoke does come from that old oil drum.
What do they do in Hollywood?
I don't know. They probably, we do have a theater smoke machine.
That's where I'm going with this is, you know, if you're worried about the employees getting left in care, why are you intentionally putting them in
because
an unsafe condition?
that their machine doesn't really generate the smoke that's true to life.
We do have a policy that the IAFF put forward. So before, years ago, we used to throw roof shingles in there, OSB, plywood, anything painted, and really to get real smoke. Now we only use hay and pallets because it's untreated wood, untreated hay. And so that's where a lot of the carcinogens coming from in the new, like in a fire now, everything's plastic, the couch, the TV, all that. That's where the real bad carcinogens are coming from. So we have a policy to only burn untreated pallets and hay in that training building.
But that doesn't account for actual fires, because you can't mitigate the carcinogens in a real fire.
Right. No, I'm not talking about the atmosphere in a fire, because you never know what that is. What I'm talking about is the atmosphere in the training facility. Can we use something other than carcinogenic materials in the training facility?
But is that where you have problems funding the 45,000? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I question how many fires we go to a year, 1 or 2. So the bulk of this washer would be used, or the bulk of its use would be after training.
The 2
Yeah.
fires that we've had here, mutual aid fires, were like 19 fires that our guys were in. That's not counting car fires, which you have to read SCBA's as well for those. I don't even know how many we've had of those.
Would you wear that if you were going to say carbon monoxide, like CO detector or not? Would you be wearing?
In SCBA,
Yeah.
if we had to go into that environment, yes.
Yeah, over 45.
Didn't know that.
We have the machine, yeah. We usually don't, take the, we don't go on SCBA to take the units out.
All right, is there any other discussions on this?
I'm sorry. Is there any way we can do it differently than spending 45 grand on an SCBA washer? Can we change the procedures or policies that such that it puts So the 19 fires and mutual aid responses, right now you wash that by hand, and that's determined to be safe, the outcome of that washing.
No,
So this is a mandatory.
no, it's not mandatory. So I can show, the demonstration that I've seen a number of times now, and it's probably on YouTube now too, is that they'll have firefighters go into a fire, they come out, and they wash it the way we've been washing it with soap and water and a brush. Then they take that same SCBA and put it in this wash machine, and then wash it again, and then test the water. Well, the water, you don't even, it comes out black. It's because our efficiency in washing it, which was the best that we could do at the time, is what we could do. But now we can do it better. So that's the reasoning behind it. It's reducing the risk. I mean, if one of our firefighters caught cancer, it would far exceed this number by thousands, I don't know, probably 100 times. But I'm not saying it can't, it's got to, what's it doing? It's reducing the risk. That's what we're trying to do, reduce the risk of one of our firefighters getting cancer.
Anybody else have any thoughts on it?
Is it just one machine?
Yes.
So it's not one for Park Street, one for Center Street?
It's just for Park Street. That's where our SCBA compressor is, and when, after we go, when we're done with the fire, everything goes back to Park Street. That's where we do everything. Reload the hose, wash all the gear.
If, I was gonna say, if a new building were there, and it wasn't at Park Street, would it be movable?
Yes, it's like a wash machine. You can pick it up and put it anywhere you want.
Okay.
Well, have to disconnect it from the piping and stuff.
Oh, yeah, no, you get that part.
And then not only that, but it's a new item, so, the maintenance and what's gonna happen over the years, things will improve.
All right, well, let's take it to a vote. If it doesn't pass a vote, then we'll go line by line. But anyway, all those in favor of funding that line number in $93,756, state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Move to amend two. So the ayes have it. All right. Essentially, we have two more line items. Do you guys want to go through it? 740, but that's all we have left.
Okay.
Let's see, let's hit it.
Absolutely.
EMS, that's zero, right?
That's
capital
equipment.
outlay.
Oh, that's, no,
New
it's just,
stuff.
yeah.
We're just buying disposable.
Do the bottom line.
Yeah, I move that we fund 741 EMS in the tune of $45,180. Do you have a second?
Second.
Discussion. So everything under 741.01, that's zero.
Right.
I don't think anybody has a problem with that. EMS disposable equipment, that's all the ambulance stuff.
Yep.
Correct.
And the laboratory user fee, that's a standard.
Mhm.
Yes.
Is there any discussion on this, other than that?
Who put the
No.
second?
Huh?
Did the second.
Oh, crap, was that you that seconded that, Charlie?
Okay, thank you.
Thought so. Although, otherwise, no? All those in favor of the motion, please state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. And the last one. 960. I move we fund line 60, 960, rescue equipment in the amount of $64,142. A second.
I'll second for discussion.
We have a motion and a second, and a second. Discussion?
You just walk us through real quick the broken, bringing extrication.
I mean,
I'm assuming your stuff's expiring and you have to replace it.
yes.
rope and rigging's me, if you want me to explain that.
And, yeah, and some of it is, so, some of it's expiration stuff, and the other stuff, Sean.
Yeah. So some of the rope and rigging is the ladder belts on the truck. On our ladder truck are over 10 years old. By NFPA, they have to be less than 10 years old. That's a small foot, probably I'd say 15% of that. I think it was. And then the rest of that is personal bailout kits for the entire department, full-time and call. Currently, we you guys have scabbed rope together and webbing and carabiners and hooks and stuff that they've gotten over the years from other people. I don't run 3. Every 6 months I run a self-extrication training at Park Street, and the results have been poor, to say the least. And then not only are they poor, everybody has a different system. Some know how to use them, some don't. We should standardize the equipment throughout the department. Every member would have the exact same equipment. And we would still run the every 6 months training on it. And then if somebody has to jump out a window here, they're going to get hurt, and it scares me. And so this would get bailout kits for the entire department.
And then this cost be, it's a new gear, new members, it just, whatever that is per system would just be added to that line item later?
Yeah, later on. And I wouldn't, these systems are supposed, and I've been told they're good for 10 years. So as a member leaves, he or she couldn't take their personal escape device with them. That would reissue it. I don't know if that has to be recertified or not, but I don't think it does.
No.
Yeah, this would be issued to them when they leave. They have to give it back. And this is the belts also that go with it, not the full harnesses, just the escape belt. And it can be doubled as a ladder belt also.
Any other discussion?
And then extrication tools, is that for, what's that for?
So it's replacing the old hydraulic rescue tools on the ladder with battery operated. It's one cutter, one spreader, and one reel.
Now,
The ones that you have now, end of use, like, how old that ladder? I assume they came with a ladder.
no,
No,
these-
they
I
came
don't
with
know,
all
they
that.
did.
Oh, no, so they're older now.
No, I don't think they are, but, so with the ladder, the call company basically runs the ladder. And we only get usually one person to bring the ladder truck. And the old system is an old hydraulic system. We have to bring the power unit out, start the thing up, hook all the hose, bring all the hoses out, hook them up. It's more than a one-person operation. And the last time we had to use it where the car was on the girl and the guy with the motorcycle, it just takes too much time manpower-wise to start operations with only one guy showing up on the ladder. The battery-operated tools, you take them out of the thing and you turn it on and it goes. You don't have to lay out the hoses, you don't have to start the engine. Hopefully the engine starts, which it does. Usually it's a Honda engine, so it usually starts up. And you don't have to hook all the ends of the hoses up. It's just a much
Yeah.
more efficient operation time-wise and getting the same effect.
It's a Milwaukee battery also. You can just go to Home Depot and buy them. But everything on our truck, our vent fans now, all our hand tools, all our small chainsaws, not big chainsaws. Everything's a Milwaukee M18 battery. This will be the same Milwaukee M18 battery. And so everything's interchangeable. We tried to stay away from anything with proprietary batteries because they get so expensive and hard to get.
Oh, yeah. So they don't have like built-in reels in the ladder truck, it doesn't have like a built-in?
No,
That's all standalone?
it's all standalone system. It's one power unit with 2 cords.
So these units are not electric hydraulic, they're straight electric. Is that correct?
Battery operated, there's a hydraulic pump within the unit itself that creates the 10,000 PSI operating pressure.
The 2 combi tools on the small, they're just like a Leatherman. You can use them. They're okay for everything, but not good for anything. We have one on each engine right now, and they're battery operated. We've had very good luck with them.
Cool.
So this is strictly the purchase of the new equipment?
Yes.
What are you gonna do with the old hydraulic unit?
I'd be putting on municipal bid. I have the old rails from the From the rescue, when they were taken off, when we got rid of the rescue, we kept those old reels. They'd be all part of a package, and we put it on municipal bid, and hopefully somebody would buy them. I don't know what we can fetch for them, but we have had good luck in municipal bid with the utility and the rescue truck, so.
So when that money comes in, that goes back into the equipment? and that
No.
runs?
No, it has to go into the.
It has to go into the operating budget. The only money that can be deposited in the apparatus and equipment fund is ambulance revenue.
Anything else? Discussion? Hearing none? All those in favor of funding line 960 in the amount of $64,142, please state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay? The ayes have it. I guess I should probably go back here for this one, 760 in the amount of $0. Line 760, I'll move that we fund it to $0 for vehicles.
Second.
Second, discussion, anybody have any issues with that? All those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay? That just takes care of that. All right, that is it. I think we've got the entire budget, which takes us to our next meeting, December 2nd, which we don't need because we're all done right now. The only thing that we're gonna need is Kathy informed me that Commissioner's gonna be doing the warrant articles on their next meeting, which is December 12th. That's a Thursday, right?
No, that's a Tuesday.
That's a Tuesday.
Oh, the 10th. It's on the 10th.
Oh, it's on the 10th.
Yes, on the 10th.
Oh, okay. So they'll have theirs on the 10th. Anybody opposed to meeting Monday, the 16th, for us to do our portion of the warrant articles?
I'll be out of town, probably.
Dinner.
Not without me. I'll be skiing, Killington.
It'd be great to get it done before Christmas.
Yeah.
Anybody, so just Charlie?
And that's a probable, I'll be out, but maybe, so.
To go skiing? So if I hobble you between now and then, you'll make it?
So what, an army guy hollering.
So next meeting is the second.
The 16th. We don't need to meet on the
Yeah, I'm
2nd.
sorry, second is gone.
The 2nd's gone because we just completed our last item. So there's no need for us to meet. We don't have anything else, any other budgetary stuff to do other than the warrant articles. But those, the commissioners have to do those. They're
Yeah.
going to meet on December 10th.
Hopefully we'll get them done.
Yeah, hopefully they'll get them done, yes, hopefully they'll get them done. And then we'll put our blessing on them or not.
Will we be able to go back and visit the dental
Yes.
on that, at that meeting, or do we have to wait till?
No, no, we can, yeah. But yeah, because that'll be
Yes,
done too.
that'll be done
'cause
too.
The 13th will have passed,
Yes.
so it's a win-win. Yes, sir.
Kathy would have already submitted the budget by then, by the 16th, right?
That doesn't matter.
No.
You can-
That, what happens is I go on and I do the warrant articles, but it's not finalized until after the public hearing. So we can make changes on the 16th.
Is that copacetic for everyone?
When is the public hearing? Has that been scheduled?
That has not been scheduled yet. I'm still waiting for the state to put their,
Issue their
Ish-
schedule?
issue their
Don't we normally do
schedule.
those in like February?
Well, it was an election year, so it's thrown everything out of whack. So,
I'm good
Usually
with the
in February.
16th.
Right. So I always thought
Beginning,
February
somewhere
was-
near the beginning of February.
yeah, it'll be in February sometime.
Right. Okay. So is everybody cool with barring one for the 16th?
Charlie is always the outlier.
That's right.
All right, and
Time 5:30.
we'll just get a hold of
5:30, probably here.
Jane
or downstairs.
Yes, I'll let Jane know.
Perfect.
She's supposed to call me tomorrow.
Okay, perfect.
And then, I will make sure that we can have a spot here.
All right,
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that motion. All those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned at
7:55.
7:55. Beautiful, thank you guys for hanging on.
Half hour,